Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us, coming to you from Washington's premier indoor shooting facility. Of course, that is Security Gun Club right here in Woodinville, Washington. Hey, every now and then a novel issue comes along in the Second Amendment sphere. That is a new debate, a new legal issue, a new argument. And oftentimes I can really get to the immediate answer. The answer is almost intuitive of what you can get to. But occasionally an issue comes up and you may react a certain way, and then you stop and think about it and you go, geez, I don't really know about that. And that's the issue that I'm kind of struggling with. I'm actually going to ask all of my viewers to help me in my mind clarify this. It has to do with a case that we talked about last week, which we'll talk about again today. But really the big loaded question is this. Should people who are in the United States unlawfully, those that have snuck into our country, be afforded Second Amendment protections? It's a much more loaded question than one might think, and I'll explain how in just a moment. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about, so do illegal immigrants actually have Second Amendment rights? Okay, hey, before we get going too far down the road we're going down, I want to talk to you about something. We say here at Washington Gun Law all the time that we're not going to tell you how to think, but we're going to give you all the stuff to think about. Well, where do you get your news that does it the same way? Well, that's why I've been using Ground News, and you should too. Because with Ground News, I can actually check out and see what the news sources are, what the actual bias distribution is, what the headline manipulation is, and I can actually weed through and figure out for myself what this story truly means. What a novel concept. This is how it works. You find a story here, you go ahead and you start researching it. Now from here you can figure out whether or not this is being predominantly reported by left-leaning media, right-wing media, neutral media, whatever it may be. You can do an analysis of all the headlines to see how they are misrepresenting this story. And this is the best thing about Ground News. You see, they got this blind spot feature here, which allows you to see stories that are only being reported by one side of the political spectrum. Take the story we're talking about today. Should illegal immigrants actually be allowed to possess firearms? Why is this story literally being reported exclusively by right-wing media outlets? So listen, it's time to break free from the media bias. It's time to get objective information so that you can decide what this all means to you. So go to ground.news/Washington and subscribe and get 40% off unlimited access to the platform with the Vantage subscription. Now listen, that's the plan I've been using. And when you subscribe, you not only support me, but you're also supporting an independent platform trying to make the news more transparent for you. Okay, so a little over a week ago, we did this video right here. And what we were talking about is a case of United States v. Carbajal Flores, a case that was filed in the United States District Court in Illinois. Now, the interesting thing on that case is what was being challenged was 18 USC Section 922 G5. What that does is it makes it unlawful for any person who is an illegal immigrant, an undocumented immigrant, a newcomer, depending on what euphemistic term we want to use. Bottom line is they're in this country unlawfully. That would bar them from possessing a firearm. However, the court has found that there is no historical analog to support that statute, and therefore has ruled that 18 USC 922 G5, as applied to Mr. Carbajal Flores, is in fact unconstitutional. Now, inevitably, the Department of Justice is going to crap itself and appeal this, and so this case will be heard by a higher court. The question I'm going to ask for all of you is this: what do you think? Do illegal immigrants actually have Second Amendment rights? And what we're going to try to do is stay true to our mission here at Washington Gun Law. We're not going to tell you how to think, but we're going to give you all of the stuff to think about. And I am very, very interested. Put it down there in the comment section below. What all do my viewers think? Okay, let's take the hell no, the illegal immigrants do not have a right to possess a Second Amendment argument. How is that argument actually structured? Well, that argument is predominantly based out of language that you could pull out of both the Heller and Bruin case, where we have defined that the right of the people to keep and bear arms, when we refer to the people, we are referring to law-abiding citizens who are normally part of the political community. That is the only group of people for which the Second Amendment extends protections to. And candidly, the case law, especially when you take a look at the Supreme Court's modern understanding of how we define the people, probably has considerable legal support in favor of that argument. But I want you to take a look at the other side of things for a second. And this is what I'm struggling with, okay? Because do we believe that if a person is here in this country unlawfully, that they don't have a First Amendment right to speak freely, or they don't have a First Amendment right to go to whatever church they want? Do we honestly believe that the United States government has the ability to just kick their door in for any reason, thus making them subject to unreasonable searches and seizures merely because they're in this country illegally? If they were to be arrested for a crime and prosecuted, would they be forced to testify against themselves, to incriminate themselves, because the Fifth Amendment wouldn't protect them? Could you execute an illegal immigrant merely because they committed petty shoplifting in violation of the Eighth Amendment's protection on cruel and unusual punishment? Well, the answer to that is simply no. And then let's take a look at what the Constitution really truly does. Because many people believe that the Second Amendment actually provides individuals with the right to keep and bear arms. But no. That's actually untrue. You see, the framers of the Constitution believe that you, me, and everybody else was given those natural rights by their Creator. And the right to self-preservation, the right to secure the sanctity of your life and those that you love, is a right that was given to you by your Creator and is not given to you by any government through a piece of paper. Instead, what the Second Amendment does is it protects that God-given right by saying that government cannot in any way, shape, or form take it from you. So if that's your view, if you believe that our Creator gave us these inalienable rights that government cannot take from us, then do you honestly believe that the Creator only gave those inalienable rights to those born in the United States, or did He give those to all people born? And in some ways, this is a rather dangerous and hot-button issue for those on both sides of the political spectrum. Because while we in the Second Amendment community certainly want to continue to advance the Second Amendment rights that our founding fathers established for us, we are also deeply concerned by the ongoing invasion that's been taking place since the change in presidential administration over 3 years ago. And yes, even those people in the Second Amendment community recognize that there is population segments of our country that should not be armed. There's also this blurring of the line, something that we have to be very careful of. The blurring of the line between who is a lawful citizen of the United States and who isn't. And how many rights and privileges should people who are here illegally actually be given? And you see, the problems for those on the left are equally as complicated. You see why many of them readily support open borders and would love to see an absolute flood of illegal migration into this country for voting purposes. Do they really want all of those people armed? I mean, they don't even want you armed, so do they want to arm them? Do they really want to allow a flood of illegal immigrants into this country and then allow them to see how we have chosen to live our life? How we exercise freedom and liberty on a daily basis, how we are not dependent upon government for anything, including our own self-protection? Well, we're going to get a chance to figure this out because this case is absolutely positively going to end up in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, who has never, ever found a piece of gun control legislation that they didn't just absolutely adore. So I do expect that the lower court's ruling will be overturned by the Seventh Circuit. But then, and this is where it's going to get real interesting, there will be a petition to the United States Supreme Court. And this will be one of the biggest hot potato issues to come along this Supreme Court in a long, long time. Listen, I am very interested to hear what all of you think. Take some time, think it through. Challenge yourself here for a second, regardless of what your position is. And then let us know down below what you think. If you got any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. If you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. And then finally, I want all of you to remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.